I thought it was a really good experience, and while I only got to stay there for a year, I'd like to learn more about it and potentially learn more about it as a potential opportunity to go into teaching. I'm also just kind of curious as to what is going to happen, what I'm going to learn today. So, yeah.
Hello.
I'll go next.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You can go first.
Well, my name is Anna Rosales, and I'm BK, and I'm doing my student teaching in Wilkesboro, and I'm just also curious to know how you get into a charter school and more information about it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Jennifer Hill. I'm student teaching in Cabarrus County. I am career and technical education with a concentration in family and consumer sciences. Very interested. We have quite a few charter schools in my area since I'm right outside of Mecklenburg County as well, but would love just to know more about it, just to learn more, period. It doesn't matter either way, just to learn about charter schools and the differences, what they have to offer versus public.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a health and PE major, so I'm a senior and I'm doing my student teaching at Watauga High. I really just want to learn more about charter schools. So I'm from Jersey and I'm really just trying to figure out where I want to go, looking for job opportunities really anywhere. And I just want to know if like a charter school might be better fit for me and what the difference is between them and public schools, and really just get to learn more information about it all.
All right, anyone else want to introduce themselves? I know some people are driving, some people are having a sound problem. It is the Ides, a little past the Ides of March, but I guess bad luck can still abound even on St. Patrick's Day. Sam, did you want to introduce? Oh, you just introduced yourself. I'm sorry. Anyone else? Okay, well, I'm going to ask our two panelists to introduce themselves, and I think our students know Dr. Hannah Reeder, who is with us. Actually, Dr. Reeder, you don't know our panelists. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I'm Hannah Reeder. I am the Director of Clinical Education in the College of Ed. So I oversee the Office of Field Experiences, and I feel like these are all my babies on here. They're not really babies, but they feel like my children in some ways. So thank you for being here and taking some time out to share some of your wisdom and knowledge and experiences with them.
Great, great. So Christy, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hey, y'all. I am Christy Harnsberger. I work for National Heritage Academies, and my actual school, I'm an assistant principal of the lower elementary school in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, called Forsyth Academy. And I just want to welcome you guys to the rest of your life, your career. Welcome to the family. And we appreciate you coming to the family because Carl and I, we need some folks. So Carl, take it away.
I am Carl Likes. I'm the outreach consultant of Lincoln Charter School, and I am happy to get to meet all of you today and just kind of have a conversation and discuss, some of these differences of charter schools and what you can find out. Also, tag teaming with me is our chief administrator. He snuck in Dr. Jonathan Bryant. He's actually on as well. So we're going to tag team this thing together and try to get you guys the answers that you need or that you're looking for. So JB, you can kind of chime in and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. We put we circle in permanent marker the app job fair every time it's offered. And so we are very familiar with the structure in a regular environment. And so anyway, want to echo the sentiments of Ms. Harnsberger and Mr. Likes. it's an exciting time for you all, and we're certainly here to hopefully explain a little bit what charter schools do differently and some of the opportunities that we might have. And I'm going to apologize that I only have a couple of minutes. I am wearing green pants that you can't see to be festive, so I won't show them off to you, which would be kind of weird. But we're excited to tell you a little bit about charter schools.
Great. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Bryant. I sort of figured the 2 diplomas on the wall is a hint that you are not a current undergraduate, or not in an education field. So let's go ahead and just deal with the, I guess, sort of elephant in the room. What is a charter school? That's what everybody has said. I'm curious. I kind of know a little bit. Someone in the chat said, my mom works in a charter school, but let me just open this to our panelists. What is a charter school? How is it different from what I tend to call a more traditional K-12? But a charter school is a public school, but how are you different? What's unique about you?
I'll let you go first, Christy.
Okay, so I actually have lived around up and down the US. I've taught in Virginia, I've taught in North Carolina for a regular public school, and I started my career with NHA back when, gosh, my son's 15, so he was 3. I started out as a 5th grade teacher, and I would say that what sets us apart, we have a corporation in Michigan that supports our charter, and we have over 90 schools in the United States in 9 states. Michigan, we're #1. We have the most schools there. However, North Carolina is exploding. We have over 12 schools now, and the Wake, Raleigh, Durham area is really exploding. I heard somebody say Mecklenburg. We have 2 schools at Queens Grant and Matthews Charter in your area, one in Winston-Salem, and a lot going on in Raleigh, Durham area. So we have a management company that has the legal department, our curriculum and instruction. It's just a lot of added layers of support. Jay-Z Huizinga founded our company, and he was, his wife was a teacher. He had a son at the time, and he just thought that it doesn't matter what color your skin is, where you live, what your financial status is. Every child deserves the best education. It does not matter where you live. And he just really wanted people to have a choice. Then at our local level, our school has a board that runs our school and works with NHA, and they are local business community folks who are stakeholders, and they really want to see the area that we are located. They really want for kids to have a choice as well and be connected in the community. They look at us to be the light, almost like the lighthouse of the community. So, and we can talk about some more differences too. I'll let Carl pop in because I don't want to take over everything, but we can kind of tag team back and forth. Carl, you go ahead and start adding.
Yeah, pretty much just to piggyback, what I can say about charter schools, I've actually been with Lincoln Charter School going on 10 years. So at first I taught in a public school system. I was in the Iredell Statesville school system. And when I got to charter school, it was a world of difference. And what I mean by that, it was in a good way. You have a little, as a teacher, I had more autonomy with the choices of like how I wanted to teach the curriculum and how I wanted to just navigate through. I got the opportunity to explore and create. They paired me up with, we had a beginning teachers program. So I had someone who was, someone that was my senior that I could release and talk to about your first teacher trials that you go through that the book doesn't prepare you for, right? So I was remembering those years, and what I did was, because I knew that this question was actually coming up, I actually went to someone who is just like, it's their first year in a charter school, and I said, hey, I'm going to be on the panel, and what would be something that you would tell someone who is interested in charter school? What would be some great advice that you will give charter school. This is she's a first year teacher here. Her name is Natalie. She is the English teacher. And this is what she said. And it put it in a nutshell for me. She said that the way that charter school is different is because it's family first and academics second. So it's like, it's a tight knit. When you think of charter school, you have to think of like, longevity, like you are in it to win it. Like you are in it to win it. It's a tight knit family because charter schools are not that big, but who we work with, we become very close with. And over the 10 years, I've seen teachers who have came in as, first year teachers, now married, now having 2 kids, their kids coming through the school, and by us being K-12, we've seen their kids grow up. We've had their kids, we go play ball with them, just everything from everything that you could experience, like we all experience together. We all have experienced together, like even Dr. Bryant being on here. Like I can remember when Dr. Bryant was just an assistant administrator, and now he is who he is. So we've seen each other kind of grow through the ranks, and we're rooted for our mission. We're rooted for each other. So she summed it up. It's family first, academic second. It's community first, and then school second. So
I have to piggyback too on Carl saying that, talking about Dr. Bryant and how he has evolved in his position through the years. Our principal as well started off at Greensboro Academy as a music teacher 22 years ago, then became the assistant principal, and now is the principal. She's in year 10, I believe. We also have been around since 97. And Carl is exactly right. Parents choose us. They have a public school they can go to. They already have a home. It's when they're not satisfied or they want something more or better for their kids. They actually go out and we get chosen to educate their kids. It is a huge compliment. So family is first. My principal agree with Carl. She's very vision and family oriented, because as a teacher, especially that first year, you're going to spend more time at school with your work family than you're probably going to spend at home. And so you want to really enjoy those people. I think Carl also hit the nail on the head when he said the layers of support. When I worked in a traditional public school, my principal never came in my room. My first year, I'm going to age myself, she walked around and handed us a paper check once a month. But at a charter school, I have a mentor that I meet with every week. I have a dean of my wing that will meet with me every week for my O3. I can go, my principal's office door is always open. It's just so many layers of support. And then also when you're working with, Carl has the 2 high schools and we have, 15 schools in North Carolina, we get together for orientation in the summer. So you'll have a week at New Teacher University where you'll get to know all the programs that you're going to use in your classroom, how to get into the grade book, how to take attendance, what lesson plans do I need? What books, what's curriculum is going to be in my room when I walk in the first day? So I just have to say we have a lot of support ready for those first year teachers. And it is scary. Somebody said, you go into class that first day and you think, oh my gosh, they didn't prepare me for this. But at a charter, you've got your cheerleaders, you've got your support
Right.
people.
I would say 2 words. It's like fluid structure. Your first year is like fluid structures. Like you can be as creative, as innovative as you want to be. You have that leniency to do that, and you have your, like you said, your cheerleaders there to help you with the structure, the process, and we just root you on, man. You're not by yourself. You don't feel isolated. And everybody wants to. I mean, I guess something that would make you nervous is the fact that everybody's so friendly that they want to get to know you. Like you can't come to a charter school and sugarcoat. Like we're gonna know who you are. Probably by the time you finish, like your favorite meal, what you like to eat. The community really thrives off of knowing you. And because parents choose to be here, our parents are very heavily involved. Something about our school, we have what's called a Learn, Serve, and Engage program, where like we participate in our community. We are 100% like intentional on being a part of our community and make it known that, you know, we're here for our community. You know, we're here to support in any way that we can. And our families do a great job at doing that as well. It's a humbling experience, man. It's a very humbling experience, like teaching in a charter school, because, you know, how kids get in our school. I mean, I guess we're getting ready to go to that next, but I don't want to say too much. But you know, we have it on the lottery. You know, it's a lottery, and unfortunately, it's a waiting list for kids to get into our school. But it tells you of the education and the value of education that a charter school brings for people to want to be in your school. And even if they can't get in that year, they're still participating in the lottery to get in. So yeah, I think I'm talking way too much.
No, Carl, I think you need to address the elephant in the room. So they're all wondering, what is the financial package at a charter school compared to their county? So let's go on and get that out there, because I know they're thinking that.
They
I
might all
think
run away. No,
that would be, I'm like, I had my questions and I'm jotting down a whole bunch more, but go ahead and let's talk about, I mean, one of the things that I was curious about is what I'm hearing is each of you has had opportunity for growth in the school where you are, that there seems to be, there's a real sense of connectivity, support, mentoring. One of the things that I've always wondered about is there more leadership opportunity? Are you more involved in sort of the governance of the school in a charter school than maybe perhaps a traditional public? And then I think those issues around retention and support, financial support, incentives. Christy, you mentioned the professional development in the summer. So maybe let's talk a little bit, if you can, about all those things. Retention, support, professional development, compensation, and opportunity for advancement.
I will put a plug in. So one thing I love about my job is I get to wear a lot of hats. I get to work with the marketing department, which I love. I'm working on trying to get pre-K in my building. North Carolina, we do not have pre-K in the building yet. Michigan does. So that's a part of my passion. Another part of my passion with the marketing department, I have a lot of kindergartners who have never had pre-K. So I do a fire hose pre-K from April to August. And I get those babies in that door every second I can, field trips, snacks, reading, hands-on. I go into their preschools and I read to them and I talk about print concepts, and then I offer my team and I have created a PD where we invite the preschool teachers in on a 30-mile radius, and we're working with them because they don't get professional development. So they come in and I say, what do you need help with? You know, how to identify EC behaviors, how do we support behavior, how do we get parents involved? So my company really allows me to get involved in a lot of those things that I love. I also I teach a program called Dean Academy. And so for the state of North Carolina, teachers who think they might want to go the curriculum route or the administration route come to class once a month. We have projects, we get together, and they go through a leadership pipeline program. I've also attended the Principals Academy. That's my goal for the future, is to have my own school very soon, hopefully. So just lots of opportunity for growth, lots of opportunity to wear different hats. We need teacher leaders. So once you get your foot in the door, we need folks to run our grade level teams. We need folks to be involved with our instructional support team, MTSS. We have all kinds of clubs and sports, and there's just a lot of different ways that you can get involved at a charter school that is not just teaching it.
Right.
And so, Carl, take it away.
So I would say most definitely for Lincoln Charter, it's a place about establishing your roots, and how you want to grow and how you wish to kind of cultivate, because we want you. You know, we don't want just you, the teacher. We want you, your whole self, your whole being. Like, to follow up with our mission statement, I mean, we're all about our community expectations, which is honesty, respect, empathy, responsibility, service, and preparedness. Like, pretty much every teacher knows that. Like, we know that. So like for me, I've had the opportunity to teach every grade level. I started out in high school, teaching high school electives. And from that, I went back to school, got my master's at Liberty. And then when my daughter was getting ready to come to school, I went and I taught elementary. So I started teaching elementary. There was a need for our makerspace program, STEM, like our STEM education. I was the one that helped with that. So like she was saying, like wearing different hats. I'm the assistant coach of the high school varsity basketball team. And I am the school's DJ. So I get to make it happen. I get to make it happen. So when you come to any event, whether it's, you know, with our families or our track attack, when we're doing our fundraisers, you get me. So like, but having that opportunity has really, you know, like I said, caused me to be even more humble because, you know, there was an opportunity, there was a need for our school. Anytime a charter school is in a need, if you're that type of person that wants to step up to the challenge, the more and more you give to your community, the more and more it gives back to you. And I can honestly say that. So like, yeah, wearing different hats. Me and my wife, we both work here. She's the music teacher here as well. So I guess a perk is like our daughter she didn't have to get on a waiting list. She didn't have to get on a waiting list because we both worked there. So that was a perk. So when you think about charter school and you're thinking about longevity, think about like how you're setting your future generations up for that type of education. What else? Ooh, perks. We're talking about perks. We give out bonuses to our teachers. We do one bonus before Christmas, and then we do one at the end of the year. And I think that speaks well. PTO, when you come on our staff, the PTO do a great job at throwing some money at you when you need some classroom materials, right? When you're ready to go shopping. So we do a little celebration and give some money towards that. JB, you can jump in and help me out if I can miss something.
Yeah, from a compensation perspective, we pay on the state rate, just like traditional public school will. And so whatever you would expect to find at your local school district is what we would pay. We have a local supplement that is part of that bonus that Carl mentioned. Every charter school, like has been mentioned, has autonomy to operate the way that they see fit. And so every charter school will be different from a compensation perspective. But when we're onboarding a new employee or offering a job, it usually takes me about 20 minutes to go through all of the benefits that we offer because they're extensive. And so you'll find the same health insurance that you would receive at a traditional public school system. We don't participate in the state retirement plan. We have a 401k that is matched up to 6%. All of you are young and don't think that you have to worry about that, but you really do. On and on from a benefits perspective, but from a compensation perspective, you're not going to be making less at our school compared to our traditional brothers and sisters.
Great, thank you. And Christy, is that pretty similar to you all?
So our company does a compensation review I think it's 2 to 3 years, and what they do is they go into the county schedule and look at what county the charter's in. And we are very similar. Our compensation is very similar, within like $1,000, I feel like, of what the county that the school is located. We do have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance throughout the whole company. So my insurance has actually been a little bit better than when I worked for a traditional public school, and I carry the family. I actually, because I worked in traditional public school, I'm vested in the retirement for Virginia and North Carolina, and I keep those years. And I can purchase more when I retire. I can double dip. And like Jonathan said, Dr. Bryant, I also have my 401k that my husband plays with. I can't tell you about that, but John Hancock, y'all probably are more savvy than I am. So compensation, like Dr. Bryant says, we're very competitive with the counties that the schools are located.
Right, thank you. And I think your point about, sometimes you think you don't need to worry about that. And I just cannot impress upon our students enough, especially the world that you are going into. People with pensions like Christy and myself, because we've worked for the state, that is a rarity. Many of your families may have that, but I guarantee you, in fact, I'd guarantee you a portion of my retirement, that if you start putting away somewhere between even $200, $50 a week when you first start teaching at age 22 or 21, you will be astounded by how much you are able to save. Just can't impress upon you enough that. So there are two questions, sort of two themes in the chat. So let's talk about the first one, which is, Christy, you mentioned the dean, sort of professional development, but let's talk about what does professional development look like for a beginning teacher? And then I want to transition, after we discuss that, to some questions about your student population, how students end up in your schools, that type of thing.
So we have the BTS committee, where it's a beginning teacher support committee. You'll meet once a month. Again, we have these things called the 03s and the 09s. So the 03 is the week that you meet with your dean, and the 09 is the week that you meet with your team. And then we follow North Carolina, the way that they do their mentors and their beginning teacher program. So the first year you have more support and you meet with your mentor more often. And then as you become more experienced, the requirements change a little bit. We also have the week in August that I was speaking of. And then our beginning teachers have programs throughout the whole year where they meet up with their cohort and they do professional development. So it's actually a little bit overwhelming with all of the support and professional development, because then you also get what our school vision is for the year. So this year we worked a lot on, in August, virtual tools to become better virtual teachers. So in August, we learned a lot of programs and curriculum based on that piece. So those kinds of professional development really depends on the school need for the year.
Right. Carl, how do y'all do things differently, or is it similar?
I would pretty much say it's pretty much similar. Like that first year, you're gonna have, the overwhelming support and trying to really get you on track. I would say the thing that would be different is just how we roll it out in our categories, because like I said, we live our mission statement. So there's different community expectations that we focus on what should honesty look like in the job, what does empathy, what does preparedness means, what does respect mean. So we use our community expectations to drive whatever the need is in the support or the development is. Like we really believe in diversifying not only our students but our staff population. So we have a lot of PD that is dealing with diversity in the classroom and those different types of things. So pretty much the same far as those first 3 years, from the overwhelming support to gradually you being able to have your wings and fly but just how we roll it out is just a little bit different. Like,
Great. Thanks for mentioning, I was going to ask a question around diversity, equity, and inclusion, how y'all address that. But I think that's a good segue into talking a little bit about what does your school, what do the students in your school, who are they? Do they generally just come, I don't know if they can come from out of the traditional district or not, how they apply, what that selection looks like, and then a little bit about how big the class sizes are. And so maybe just kind of a snapshot of who's in my school as a student, what do they look like?
so there's approximately 2,000, about 2,100 students, give or take, in our whole school community. And like I said, we are 2 campuses, K-12. So to kind of break that down, we serve over 14 districts. So they do come from all over. They apply from all over. What else can I say? As far as diversity, a lot of people would think that we're not diverse, but we're diverse in our own way, because with one school being out in Lincolnton, that population is way like more diverse than our population that would be in Denver. And it's both, I don't think it's strange. I think it's just kind of cool and how it actually, works itself out. So because we're 2 campuses. So the flexibility for, diversity is really there, but you might have more diversity at one school than the other. Just depends on how the chips fall. The other thing that has happened is, because we are so intentional and really want to pursue equity and giving all students that quality education that we speak about, we have entered a grant. Well, we have a grant. We received a grant that allows us to kind of, I would say, broaden our reach with making our students, or making our student population, more diverse. Did I say that right, JB? Look, I'm trying to look. So yeah. So that's something that's kind of new. So like that information is still like running in, and this is the first year with it. So it's worked out great. And by me being the outreach consultant, this is kind of like my lane. My lane is as far as like in helping that recruitment for our teachers and getting the word out on the marketing team about our school and that kind of stuff. So putting out the yard signs and doing all of that. So yeah.
Great. And Christy, what does your school look like?
So we are, again, K-8, 748 students. NHA has over 60,000 students in the 9 states, and we're all very different. As you can tell, some of our Detroit schools are very different compared to like our Winston-Salem. I think our school really matches Winston-Salem and the diversity in Winston. And we love bilingual folks when they come in to apply. We have about 47% of our families that speak Spanish. So it's really helpful when we can find folks that can speak other languages. But our Greensboro and Summerfield school looks very different than us, but they have a larger EC population, exceptional children. So really, it just kind of depends on which school that you go to is what you'll see. I would suggest you guys go to the Instagrams and the Facebook pages of schools that you're interested in. Unfortunately, I would love for all y'all to come in for a visit, but because of COVID, that's not really happening, because you can really feel if a school is going to be your home. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now. So I would totally jump on Facebook, totally jump on Instagram, YouTube us. We've got some videos out there, and you can see inside our classrooms and our doors and talk to some of the other teachers. on our Facebook page, we have a virtual tour that you're welcome to take part in. So here's one little misnomer. People think because we're a charter school that we have these tiny little classes like private school. And my school is not like that. We are about 24 to 1 in K-8, but we also have, we're very fortunate, we have a reading specialist, a math specialist, at-risk reading teacher. We have 5 ESL teachers. We have 2 social workers. And so our theme at our school is really the workshop model. Even all the way in middle school, we teach in a workshop model. And what we do is we plan our master schedule around when our intervention layer folks can pull folks out, because we try to get it down to a 5-to-1 ratio when it comes to instruction. So let's say you go into kindergarten or first grade. In the morning, they start their day, and then their para comes in for 3-hour blocks. They're going to be pulling students teaching phonics, the teachers teaching guided reading, the ESL teachers pulling out kids doing that second layer of support. My reading specialist is pulling out the tier 3 kids. So even though it's, a traditional school around the corner may have 20-to-1 because they're a Title I school, we do have that para that comes in and supports, and we make sure the master schedule keeps those class sizes as small as possible when it comes to the instruction piece. Carl, do you want to talk about your class size?
Yes. So for our kindergarten through 3rd grade, I would say our class sizes are pretty the same for us, what you said. So like not just small, but we also have a full-time TA in our K3, and so with that of course that helps. Of course that helps. So yeah, class sizes I would say are pretty much the same.
Okay. So, gosh, there are several questions, and I'm trying to watch the time so we can cover everything. I think we may have a little bit, and you can let me know if we haven't, Cassie, sort of addressed your question about special education, EC support. Did we answer that for you? I'm going to take that as a yes. There is a question, and Dr. Bryant provided some additional information about the support for first-year teachers, that it is basically what is being done with teachers who are not in charter schools, who are in other public schools. Thank you for putting the website in there. And Christy, if we can get your website, thank you, that'd be great. So one question that's also here we haven't addressed yet, and then I think we should just let people ask questions, is about assessments. You have to do the same state assessments, I would imagine. And is it at the same detail and level, or yes, we are seeing lots of head nodding. That's everybody's favorite thing. Anything that y'all want to add about that kind of your assessment piece and evaluation? And then I'd like for you to talk about who you're hiring for. We talked about that a little bit before the students joined us, but anything that y'all like to talk about with sort of student assessment, evaluation, progress, learning growth, grade level growth.
So we actually follow North Carolina. We do the check-ins and the EOGs. I actually am testing coordinator this year. Woohoo! I had another little fun spot on my on my hat. And it is a lot of work. So I'm trying to think. We do online testing. That does help the poor testing coordinator, so that's nice. We do follow Read to Achieve and that legislation. We use progress monitoring tools typically, because we have to for Read to Achieve. So we, right now the state has given us a choice. We've had M-Class in the past, iStation, iReady. There's a new, I think, program coming down the pike in Lexia with the science of reading, some of that new research that's coming down the pike. The state is looking at different items. So we do progress monitor. We use a program, an intervention program for phonics and intervention. We use reading mastery and corrective reading. You guys have probably heard about some of these things. But our company is always looking for the new and improved pieces of blended learning and progress monitoring. Our goal is to make it easier for teachers. And with blended learning, it really has, compared to the old M-class dibbles and things like that when we used to have to do a lot of one-on-one. We do let teachers do formative assessments, and they have their pair at the time they need to if they'd like to pull and do some one-on-ones. In math, our Bridges program, we use Bridges. In the lower section, there is more of that small group assessment for the teachers. So you could come in and see me testing some students in the hallway. I have, I call them my special projects. They need a little motivation. So you will see me have an ORF club, oral reading fluency, who I'm pushing the button and trying to get some kids lit up about some oral reading. So we do similar things as your neighborhood school as well.
So or Carl, do you want to add anything else, or do we want to share what you are actively seeking for fall 2021?
Well, the only difference, I was just going to say one of the major differences with our school is since the pandemic, our school is all completely one-to-one. So we went from, just middle school, high school, having one-to-one. That means, operating Chromebooks and that kind of stuff, to our kindergarten all the way through. Kindergarten all the way through. They all have their Chromebooks now, which that has most definitely helped, but has also caused how we kind of navigate through this time. So like how we're navigating through this time with, iReady and such programs. So far as like latest tech, latest, software that's out there, some of which she most definitely spoke of that's coming to me now. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we use that too. So, so most of the same stuff that we're actually using, but like how it's actually been rolled out now has been something to kind of think about. So if you're teaching those elementary grades, your kids will have Chromebooks. So like, that's something to help you kind of process through as well, when teaching. Yeah.
Right. Well, we need to hop off at 5:55 because we have another meetup after this one. But tell us, when you're here on Friday, what positions are you seeking? And then I realized I had muted all the students when they came in. So now I've unmuted you, and then folks can just ask questions. So Carl, what are you looking for?
Grades K-12, all the above. But specifically, we're looking for have a PE position in elementary, middle school math, science, social studies, middle grades. High school, we're looking for Spanish, math, world history, Spanish, math, world history, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. Great.
And
And Christy?
director.
Oh yeah, I want to come back. Let's see what Christy has, and then I wanted to ask about other roles in the school. Oh, did I? Sorry, hold on. Let me find you. How did I mute you? How did I do that? I'm just making you a co-host. As a co-host,
Okay, can you hear me?
Talk.
Okay. I'm gonna go quick because we have 6 minutes. I will be here Friday. Y'all come see me. I have one position I really want to plug. It's called the TIR, Teacher in Residence. It's a special program that we have going on because it's early. And I'm going to be honest, people are waiting to see what Roy's going to say come the fall. And I think that's going to really play a part in what's going to be available. So the TIR, Teacher in Residence, I can hire you on the spot. I don't necessarily have a classroom with your name on it, but I have a wing with your name on it. So I'm hiring teachers in K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8. I love some math and science peeps. I'll take anything, but typically my TIRs get placed within 1 month to a year. You are a regular teacher, you get regular pay, you get regular benefits. You don't always have to grade papers. You might not have to do parent-teacher conference. I am gonna have kids working in front of you. If somebody were to go out on maternity leave, I'm plugging you in my wing and you're gonna take over. If someone gets sick, when I have a position open, you are the first one, you get first dibs. So this is a great program. I have a couple of those positions open. I would love to see y'all on Friday. TIR, it's not scary. I actually have 2 kindergarten teachers who were TIRs 5 years ago that are still with me. I have 2 first grade teachers who were TIRs 3 years ago. They're still with me. If you have never taught before and you want to step into the water, this is an awesome opportunity to see if you're a good fit in my school, in our schools, our 90 schools. I've also put the NHA link, click on careers. You can search by state, you can search by area, you can search by grade level. We would love to have you guys come be a part of the National Heritage family. Thanks so much for having us, Susan.
You're welcome. Well, I think you've answered the question that was just asked, is can you shift what you teach? And it sounds like that it's happened to both of y'all. So let's see now what questions I think we probably have time for 1 or 2 questions from the field. If y'all can talk, if you can't, just tell me. Do we have any? You cannot. I have given everyone should be able to unmute themselves. Can y'all do that? No, let me unmute Dr. Reeder. I don't know why. Can you, I can hear you now, I think, Hannah.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. So
Okay, raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question and I can't, and I haven't called on you. Anybody? All right, hold on. There we go. I think. Okay, is it Amaris?
Yeah, it's Amaris.
Amaris, sorry.
The Teacher in Residence program seems really awesome. And I was just wondering if there was also a link to that so I can look more into it.
So when you go to the NHA career, when you go to NHA.com and you click on careers and you go down to the bottom of the blue United States, you could type in TIR and all the Teacher in Residence will pop up and their locations.
Okay. And I think Jennifer has a question too. And you should be unmuted. You're now a co-host. I'm just making everyone a co-host that way.
I'm glad I get to co-host. So I'm a little non-traditional compared to a lot of people that are attending. So I am career and technical education. So middle school, high school. What type of electives do charter schools have available for their students?
Well,
You want to go first, Carl?
So we have Spanish that starts kindergarten. So kindergarten K-12. So we got Spanish. We have most definitely art. So other foreign languages we offer. I think in middle school we offer like Italian and French, so they can get a good dose of that. We also have, so you said tech, so our STEM education that is from K-12 as well. So you get a dose of computer, you get a dose of makerspace, a little bit of intro to engineering, and what else do we have? We have SAT prep class.
So like currently right now, my student teaching, I'm teaching a foods class. So career and technical education, family and consumer sciences is a lot of like career readiness and life skills, just things that students need. Is there anything like that available in either area?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So we have all those traditional items, but one thing, our middle school teachers choose to teach an elective.
Right.
And they create it, and it's like their little passion. And so, I mean, we have Mr. Distinguished, we have Ancient Egypt, we have study skills, we have high school writing. So whatever is their jam, they get to choose. And sometimes they change it, and sometimes they keep it year after year. But we have a technology teacher that teaches 5th through 8th grade technology classes. She also speaks Spanish, and she loves to teach Spanish, so she teaches that elective. She helps me with online testing. She helps with our Chromebook distribution and things like that. She wears lots of hats. So she teaches and does other things. She is like an angel. And so all of our NHA schools have those type of folks too.
So that's what I was saying. You can, that autonomy piece, as far as the electives, can be embodied in that. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, I have recorded this. I have everyone's email, and I will share that with Christy and Carl. Students, let me just put my email. I think you all have it. I've sent you multiple communications this week, and you are paying attention to them, which I greatly appreciate. But if you want to make a direct contact or anything, please be in touch with Christy and Carl. They have your information. They'll be here again on Friday. I really want to thank both of you for being here. Lincoln Charter has been super generous and supportive of our Career Development Center for many years. And Christy, we're glad to have you joining us. And the opportunities, as you said, 9 states, you're in 9 states. So I think, as our students look at their future, there are, just like students have lots of choices for schools, you all as teachers have lots of choices for schools, and Friday will be your chance to see, where some of the good fits may be. So Christy and Carl, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
I appreciate you guys. I live in Davie County, and let me just tell you that the App State reputation of educators is just so high. I cannot say, I just sing your praises. I have a senior who's graduating this year. She graduated her IEP due to attending summer camp with kids from App State who taught that program, due to teachers in her life who come from App State. So kudos to you guys. I just really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And we'll see y'all Friday. And for folks who want to join the road less traveled, we're going to hop in that Zoom room in a minute. So thank you.
Thank you.